Dinesh D'Souza, who has built a career starting from the 1980s on race baiting, and actually wrote a book. A lot of people don't remember this. He wrote a book several years ago, and people always like accuse the left of like sympathizing with a group like Al Qaeda, or take a conversation on blowback from U.S. foreign policy, which is obviously a really important conversation to have, and say like, well, you're just blaming, that you don't care about September 11th, you just hate America. Well, Dinesh D'Souza actually did write a book several years ago where he kind of basically said it is sort of our fault that some of this stuff is happening, but it's not because we're killing people overseas or propping up bad regimes or interfering stupidly in civil wars. It's because we're supporting marriage equality and women have rights to reproductive health. And we got to think really seriously about that, because not only is it wrong to treat gay people and women like human beings, it's also undermining our national security. And we should really be sitting down with a global coalition of misogynist religious fundamentalists to hold down people's rights and violate women's health at different international forums. And of course, over the last couple of years, Dinesh has just been out front with his bizarre fantasy life about President Obama. Frankly, I wish was slightly more true than it obviously is not. Anyways, he is going to, not jail. What's he going to?
He's going to be spending 8 months at a community refinement center. Let me look.
Confinement center?
Confinement center.
I got to admit, that actually does sound like he's going to some type of socialist mind retraining thing. That sounds pretty weird. But anyways, he committed campaign finance violations. He basically, a friend of his was running for Senate, I think it was. He wanted to give her more money than the allowable amount, so he had some friends cut her checks, and then he reimbursed them. That's illegal. Yeah, probably not the hugest deal in the world, but it's Dinesh D'Souza. Screw him. He should be at a community confinement center for waking up in the morning and doing what he does.
He also has 5 years probation.
He also has 5 years probation. So anyways, Fox News had him on, and, I was expecting Megyn Kelly, because Megyn Kelly is a very, very, very nothing if not profoundly committed to law and order and tough criminal prosecution. So Megyn Kelly had on Dinesh D'Souza.
I'd like to just add, too, that it's been pointed out that a Harry Reid friend and donor, Harvey Whitmore, did the same exact thing as Dinesh D'Souza.
Yes.
And he got 2 years in jail for the same crime.
So, wow, maybe prosecutors do take this sort of crime kind of seriously. That's interesting. But she had on Dinesh, and I did assume that Megyn, she just has no time for any type of criminality. So she was probably going to give him a pretty hard go of it. So let's listen. This clip we're about to play is before Dinesh has even sat down to explain why Google, Barack Obama, and the Muslim Brotherhood are trying to put him away.
Well, he has been an outspoken critic of the Obama administration. And after an illegal campaign donation to his friend, he's now a convicted felon. But does he belong behind bars? Prosecutors argued, yes, he does, for up to 16 months. Dinesh D'Souza's lawyer asked for probation, and the judge ruled this morning. Dinesh is here live, but first, a look back at how we got here.
He produced Obama 2016.
Obama has a dream from his father, that the sins of colonialism be set right and America be downsized.
He began the film America.
Because if you got a business, that you didn't build that.
You didn't build that.
Somebody else made that happen.
What President Obama's really saying is that the wealth and abundance of American life are not earned. They're stolen.
And then he tried to help his friend, fellow conservative Wendy Long, get elected to the U.S. Senate, donating $10,000 of his own money, and then having two sets of friends donate another $10,000 each, reimbursing them after the fact. That's against the law, which puts a cap on personal campaign donations, and D'Souza admits he did it. Even the government admits that, quote, most violations of this type result in civil penalties, meaning fines. But D'Souza...
Unless you're Harry Reid's friend. Then you go to jail.
instead faced criminal charges and a prosecutor determined to put him behind bars. A 53-year-old man with no criminal history and a lifetime of academic scholarship. D'Souza contested the charge, but not the underlying facts. He argued that he acted with no corrupt intent. Even the prosecution admitted the motive was not to curry political favor. D'Souza believed he was being targeted based on his political views. He also claimed the donation caps were unconstitutional. The court would ultimately reject D'Souza's arguments, and out of legal options, D'Souza pleaded guilty.
So basically, you just got sentenced for major violations of campaigns finance laws is a infomercial for your horrible movies. Then a lifetime of academic scholarship, I would substitute grotesque race baiting. And number 3, Megyn Kelly, I had no idea that you were this compassionate and understanding about people getting caught up in the draconian realities of the American criminal justice system. I look forward to your coverage on young African American and Hispanic males who are getting racially profiled, who are going to jail for absurd and ludicrous drug sentences, and families torn apart by our criminal justice system. I'm really, really excited to see this new leaf you're turning on. Oh, wait. Obviously, that's never going to happen because there might be a guy dressed up in a Black Panther outfit outside of a polling station in Wilmington, Delaware, and you could do 50 segments on that over the next several weeks, in addition to dredging up Bill Ayers from somewhere. And then, of course, by the time we've done all of that, Dinesh will be out of his community confinement center, and you can have him on again to talk about his great experience. Give him another infomercial. No surprise there.